Oh, check it out.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Wednesday, Worldwide Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. This is episode 740 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next hour or so, me, you, Biggie, Jay Gold, Jenny Housley, DJ BSEC, FedEx, the whole Junior Mafia crew, GRC Mafia, Rhonda Rummerfield, and the Low Country Matthew Netchie. So many squad members, friends, first-timers, long-timers. We're all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories on what it means to you as a practitioner. So how can you use this information to drive cyber risk reduction for your business, stakeholders, for your personal cybersecurity? That's what we get. We go deeper than the headlines, ripping out, distilling the essence of what lessons learned there can be, and how do these, events affect macro cybersecurity elements. So we're going to get into all that. It's all about good times. Also, if you're looking to break into the industry, your first time, or you're trying to pivot into cyber, this podcast is absolutely, without a doubt, going to have value for you. You're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? Good morning. Kimberly can fix it. Listen, this podcast is going to have mad value for you. And you're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? This is the answer. You're also going to get exposed to a lot of terminology, a lot of concepts. A lot of times when you're learning new material, it's not really grounded in anything. It's like, oh, this is what confidentiality is. This is what asymmetric encryption is. You're like, fine, great. I'll just brain dump this. I'll cram all this knowledge in my head without any context of how they relate. Guess what? We take care of that too up in here. And finally, my friend, whether you're breaking in, 20 years in, first timer, long timer, networking and community is absolutely essential to a successful cyber career. And may I introduce you to the hashtag Team SC community, AA Witherspoon, Hemo Glockman, Roseman, Kimberly, Mando, all of them. Say hello. Don't be shy. This is a very welcoming, a very inclusive community. Just say hello. Good morning. How are you? Hashtag Team SC, and see where the conversation takes you. Now, before we get into it, I want you to know I don't prep or research for any of the stories we're about to cover. Ain't nobody got time. Which might seem like an absolute ludicrous concept, but my friends, I love cybersecurity. I love working it, talking about it, breathing it. I've been doing it for a very long time. I don't need to see what the stories are and research them. I'm going to be just fine. I'm going to be able to data mine something valuable from each of these. So we're going to go through it together. Hey, Jenny Housley, good to see you. It is Worldwide Wednesday, which means in a few minutes, we're going to show you just how amazing the Simply Cyber community really is, how diverse, how international. It's going to be good. Prentice Jones, first timer in chat. What's up, Prentice?
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right. Now, I do want to let you all know that this stream is sponsored. That's right. I get up every morning and bring the heat and not have to worry about keeping food on my kids' plates and a roof over my head because of the stream sponsors. Thank you very much, stream sponsors. Let's give it up for Barricade Cyber Solutions, y'all. Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil. But guess what, y'all? Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. Believe that. Check them out at barricadecyber.com. Links in the description below. Think of them as digital firefighters. Your business catches digital fire, i.e. you got a threat actor up in your environment. You would call 911 if your house was on fire. Call barricadecyber.com if your business is on digital fire. Also want to say shout out to Threat Locker. Threat Locker bringing the heat. Give us 30 seconds and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to tell you how you can get 120 CPEs a year just by being here. Back in 30. Cyber Threat Brief sponsor ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right. Thank you, ThreatLocker. Thank you, all of you guys. Every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one, episode 740, is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot of it, file it away, and once a year, count up the number of screenshots, divide by 2. Those are your CPEs. We effectively qualify because this sounds like such a D-bag thing to say, but like I am, qualified as a cybersecurity expert. I don't know everything about cybersecurity, but I do know a lot about it. So this is an instructor-led, expert-led webinar. That's kind of how you would qualify this as a CPE, okay? And we only do half a CPE because even though the show's an hour long, I don't want anyone to argue that, only half of it's really educational. Fine, take half a CPE. Call me in the morning. It's 120 a year. 2.5 a week, 10 a month, they add up. All right, guys. So grab your screenshots. If today is your first day, let us know. Hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat if it's your first day so we can welcome you properly. We have a special sound effect. We have a special emote. And we love welcoming first timers. So please, if it's your first time, hashtag first timer in chat. Now, let's go check this out. What's that sound? What doth my ears heareth? Is it the Daft Punk? It is. Oh boy, here we go, guys. Check it out. We're about to go around the world. IT Pro from ACI Learning is presenting Worldwide Wednesday. The IT Pro from ACI Learning is the international online training solution that professionals in audit, cyber, and IT turn to for binge-worthy content. Use my promo code Auger30 to get 30% off your first month or first year. Thank you, ACI Learning. I have a pinned comment. So here's what we're going to do, y'all. If today is your first time, Cyber Umair, first timer as a squad member.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, here we go, guys. We're about to party. Rakila Green, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yes, sir. All right, Rakila Green, we're about to go around the world. Check it out. I'm going to set the clock for 2 minutes, 22 seconds. You tell me where you're at, and I'll mark it on the map. Setting timer now. Mods, get ready. Let's go. Where are you? Carrie's in Texas, bringing the United States online. Let's keep going. Toronto, Canada from Oscar Navas. We got Indianapolis in the house. More Texas, Utah, Columbia up in the upstate, Port Zero, Dirty Jersey, Osaka, Japan, Wade Sun. Very nice. We got Pacific Rim online, Niagara Falls, Hemoglobin out in Spain, Buenos Dias, the upstate, South Carolina. Love it, love it, love it. Florida. We got Dallas, Fort Worth, Boston, Benny Blanco, Philip Muga, bringing Kenya online and bringing Africa online. Very nice. We got Texas and Ghana. Right on in Ghana with the Ghana soup recipe. Andres bringing Scandinavia online. Norway's in the house. What's up? Philippines, Triple D. More Pacific Rim action. Where's our South America folks? Where's our South America folks? DP. We got the Philippines. We got the UK. What's up? South Africa. We've got more Africa in line. Australia. Thank you very much, Australia. Good day, mate. St. Louis, Saudi, Cyber Umair bringing Saudi on, the kingdom. Barbados, Florida man, love it. Roswell, UK's in the house. Hot Atlanta, more Ethiopia, Africa showing up today. Gustavo, bringing South America online. We've done it, y'all. We've done it. Now we're just flexing. Up in here. Turkey's in the house. Boom. Bishop and his family. Somalia. Whoa. We got the coast, African coast, the Horn. Auburn, Michigan. We got some Michigan action. UP. All right, guys. Straight killing it out here. Bangladesh. Very nice, Bangladesh. I see you. It's always hard to get on this point. Dudes. DJ B-Sex about to represent the skies. Say hi to James McQuaid at 35,000 feet. All right. South America, kind of quiet today, but I got to tell you guys, damn. Clearly, North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Australia, Asia, Middle East, Central America, Colombia coming in hot right on the rip. We just went around the world. And just to show you, hey, what's up, Puerto Rico? I just want to show you, this is how international, this is how freaking amazing the Simply Cyber community is. Not only are we international and representative and diverse, it's live right now. At this moment, right now, people in every continent are watching and being part of the community. I freaking love it. Let's go. All right. As fun as it is to go around the world, y'all, it's time to get to work. Wah, wah, wah. I know. So do me a favor, sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome wave. I will see all of you at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024.
Machine Gun first-timer in chat. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'm Rich Straffolino. Five Eyes launches startup security program.
Austin Fraley, first-timer. Welcome to the party, Austin.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And squad members, if you are a squad member, if your name is green or colored in some way, check out the emote tray on YouTube. You have extra bonus emotes that are only for accessible by squad members. Go ahead and drop that John McClane emote, if you would, to welcome people into chat.
Here, the UK's GCHQ, National Cybersecurity Centre, and MI5's National Protective Security Authority launched Secure Innovation, a program designed to help secure tech startups from state-based threats. After the first ever public meeting of the heads of the Five Eyes domestic intelligence agencies, the UK, US, Canada, New Zealand, and Australian governments agreed to launch regionalized versions themselves. Secure Innovation provides basic advice on protecting technology using simple questions to create a personalized action plan. The UK found over 500 startups engaged with the Secure Innovation program in its first year.
All right, so here we go. I've worked at tech startups, okay, so this is rooted in reality. The Five Eyes are US, UK, Australia, Canada, and a fifth one. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure someone will tell me in chat. Maybe New Zealand. So here's the deal. Tech startups, they're typically innovators. They're typically disruptors, right? Not all tech startups are going to be Meta or going to be ChatGPT or OpenAI, right? But a lot of times tech startups, because they're so small and sometimes well-funded, they can move fast and do really, really interesting research. The Five Eyes agencies are obviously concerned that because of that innovative, disruptive technology capability, that they would be targeted by nation-state threat actors in other countries to steal those secrets, to commit espionage, and to basically undermine any competitive advantage that the Five Eyes countries would get by having the tech startups inside their borders or their citizens doing it. Okay, now, this is a fine, righteous idea. The idea is, and tech startups, you got to remember, tech startups are typically, not always, but typically fewer employees, multiple hats per employee. Everybody's driving towards the mission. The mission is to develop, the best SIM or the best, XDR solution, whatever it is, okay? The best information security awareness training. So everybody's focused on doing that, and no one's really focused on building an information security program. And a lot of times the tech startups are going to see the structure and the not the bloat, but the conformance and the constraints of an information security program as hindering the ability to be innovative, right? But there's a rub here, right? So if, hey, don't harsh my mellow, man, I'm trying to be innovative here. Well, you need multi-factor on your account, so you're going to get crushed, right? So the Five Eyes are trying to help that. Now, I want to point out really quickly, because this is GRC all day long. They said the program is tech startups fill out answer a few questions. Like I almost fell over because my eye roll was so strong. Answer a few questions, and then they will develop a personalized information security program for you. Okay, first of all, tech startups are tech startups, right? So I don't care if you're making widgets or baubles or flange valves or diphthongs or whatever you're making. 80% of what you're doing, it's going to be the same. So like personalized, I almost think this is window dressing in order to make the tech startup founder or the people feel like special snowflakes that, there are many information security programs, but this one's special. This one's for me. This one was personalized. I really think this is like a marketing thing. Like, what are we talking about, dude? Multi-factor is multi-factor. Put it on your accounts and move on. It's not like, now that we've carefully analyzed your business, we've determined multi-factor authentication is a good idea. Get it out of here, okay? Now, I will say a lot of tech startups typically have software workflows or software products in their process, and that's where you get into CI/CD pipelines and DevOps, and that really does require a lot of security and focus. So I could see that being personalized, but as far as like whatever, I think it's like, if yes, then it unlocks these controls. If no, these controls don't apply. I think that's what personalized is. I also want to point out, shout out to whoever developed this program. All right, so Roswell UK says it's 25 questions. Perfect. One thing I do want to point out is that in addition to helping you secure the business, it sounds like they're trying to give some guidance to the founders and the executive team of the tech startups, who obviously would be higher value targets for a threat actor to spearfish. So I appreciate that they're going for the tech stack as well as the people, like a good GRC program would do. People, process, technology. You got to secure all three. A lot of people only focus on the technology. That's not going to cut it, my friend. You got to look at process and people as well. All right. All hail Zeus. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And thanks, squad members, because it's easy for me to see the John McClane emotes in chat and then be able to realize who's the first timer.
Canada and the Netherlands seeing increased Chinese activity. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity said it observed a Chinese-linked threat actor performing scans on government organizations over several months earlier this year, including networks for political parties, the House of Commons, and critical infrastructure. Canadian authorities say there's no sign of compromise at these entities as of yet, but the threat actor could be preparing for future malicious activity. In other news, the Dutch counterterrorism unit NCTV released a research paper showing a marked increase in cyber attacks from China and Russia against Dutch organizations. This increase primarily comes from the activities of non-state actors in both countries. In Russia, this is tied to the increase in hacktivist activity. NCTV warns that while the Netherlands sees persistent activity from both threat actors, in the last year, it's seen an increase in intensity, scope, and technical sophistication.
All right. Hey, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet with 10 gifted subs.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Thank you, James McQuiggan. And for the 10 people who just became squad members or renewed their squad membership, welcome back or welcome to the party, pals. Enjoy those squad emotes. And thank you, James McQuiggan, for supporting the community. All right, so this shouldn't come as a surprise. China's been all up in everyone's business. Volt Typhoon, go Google that. Salt Typhoon, Flax Typhoon, go look at those. They are, basically getting into telecom providers, into critical infrastructure. The U.S. and China and Canada are BFFs in the way of like geopolitics, right? So Five Eyes countries. So it would make sense that China would be, probing and maybe compromising. Thanks, Ben. China would be going after them as well. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if there's news reports out there. In fact, I would consider it a safe bet that China's doing this to Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, United States, right? Like there's no reason to think they wouldn't be, right? Again, this isn't a political show, so I don't want to get into it. But there has been, according to the Dutch, by the way, like way to go to the Dutch, not to be confused with the Dutchy, but the Dutch are getting after it as far as like, World SecOps, police. They took down yesterday. They talked about taking down some organization. I can't even remember who they took down. Well, it was in the story yesterday, but the Dutch got after it. Now the Dutch are releasing reports, kind of think products around the uptick in activity in China Recon. Guys, obviously, China has been authorized or has made it a priority to increase footprint on initial access in different networks across the world. Go check out the Belt and Road Initiative and what China's doing with soft power in Africa and South America, and then check out what they're doing here with this. Go look at Volt Typhoon, Salt Typhoon, Flax Typhoon. They're staging. I don't know what they're staging for. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not being xenophobic or anything. It's just, this is the evidence. This is what's being reported. We're seeing just, it's constant. That's it. It's constant, right? Open up a honeypot, or not open one, put a honeypot on the internet and look at it. This is how you do active defense. And you can see where it's getting probed, what it's getting hit with. It's a great little exercise. If I had more time, I would do it myself. Every once in a while, I set up a Renegade stream and I do a honeypot. It's a lot of fun. I don't know when I'm going to do it next.
Russia might fork.
But by the way, there's nothing you can really do about this, right? Like if you have internet facing assets, you can't stop it from being probed. Okay. But you can harden it to keep it from getting compromised.
Linux community. In a statement to local media, the Russian Digital Ministry said it plans to create an alternative structure and an independent development community around Linux. This statement came after the Linux community delisted 11 Russian kernel maintainers, later explaining it would add restrictions to developers whose companies are controlled by anyone named on the U.S. Office of Foreign Asset Control list. Russia called this an act of discrimination. Linux creator Linus Torvalds doubled down on the action, saying the decision is not getting reverted.
All right. So this is, again, God dang, cybersecurity and like geopolitics are getting all sorts of involved. Now, Linux is an open source operating system. Many of us are quite familiar with Linux. Kali is built on Debian, fork, and like people use Linux all the time. Ubuntu is a very accessible Linux distro if you're looking to play with Linux or get into Linux. Because it's open source, a lot of people can contribute to it. Apparently, the Linux community has delisted or banned or whatever you want to say a bunch of Russian developers. Now, Russia is saying, "Oh, this is discrimination," and the other side of the coin is saying, "Actually, this is to protect Linux because Linux is used in basically all sorts of critical systems, right? Like Fortune 500 companies use it, United States government, national security, governments around the world use Linux." So they're claiming that like, hey, this is basically getting ahead of any potential issue. Whether or not they have any evidence that the Russian developers were introducing any type of like sussy code, backdoor code, anything like that remains to be seen. But they're getting in front of it, right? This honestly is Russia saying, "Oh, we'll build our own." Like, okay, you could, right? Like, my initial thought is like, "Oh my god!" Like, talk about I don't want to say petty, but like, well, fine, take your ball. We'll get our own ball. We didn't even like your ball. We don't even like Linux. We'll build our own Linux, right? That's kind of what this feels like. Honestly, though, if Russia wanted to build its own Linux, if they have these 10 or 11 software devs who are kernel maintainers, Russia could literally just fork the current instance of Linux and start from there. They don't have to start from zero. They can fork. There's so many Linux variants out there, and most of them are forks of Linux, right? So it's not outrageous for Russia to come up with its own. Whether they do it or not remains to be seen, but whatever. This is in my opinion, this is an example of like soft power, where like Russia, obviously there's a lot of geopolitical tension in the world right now. NATO-based country or NATO-aligned countries, BRICS-aligned countries are kind of seem to be like, you know, these factions, these coalitions that are kind of sticking together. And this is one of those ones where it's like soft power to hurt Russia effectively without being kind of overt about it.
The state of ransomware in education. K-12 Dive put together a report on the threat education faces from ransomware. From 2016 to 2022, ransomware attacks on education increased by 393%, from 14 to 69 attacks. From 2024 through October 3rd, 85 attacks were found. K-12 co-founder Doug Levin said some of this comes from a failure to implement security basics, things like MFA. EdTech proliferation is also an issue, with school districts using an average of 2,739 EdTech tools. Last year, the Consortium for School Networking found that roughly 2/3 of districts had no full-time cybersecurity positions. Sophos previously reported that 62% of lower education systems hit with ransomware made a payment, with an average payment of $7.5 million.
Oh.
The cost of restoring from backups averaged $3.76 billion. There are also issues with underreporting attacks. The Cyber Incident Reporting for Critical Infrastructure Act is set to take effect in 2026. This will require school districts with over 1,000 students to report incidents to CISA within 72 hours and report ransom payments within 24 hours.
Dang. All right, so check it out. If you work in K through 12, you already know this. Threat actors are targeting K through 12 schools in the United States. I don't know if it's really happening in other countries, but for sure it's happening in the United States. And for all the reasons that they just said. Number one, 2/3 of schools don't have dedicated cybersecurity staff, period. Number two, the tech sprawl is outrageous. They said on average, which is insane, on average, a K through 12 school system has 2,000 plus ed tech solutions. So like 2,000 plus apps, right? The tech sprawl is outrageous. So you don't have anyone working there to help secure anything, and you have an attack surface that's gigantic. What could go wrong? They don't even have fundamentals like multi-factor authentication. Like literally, this is a perfect storm. This is like this is outrageous, but this is the equivalent of like building a canoe out of balsa wood and then getting in it in the middle of a hurricane / typhoon / monsoon and going for a boat ride. Like, what do you think's going to happen? High likelihood that you're going to get absolutely hammered, and high likelihood of really bad impact. Like, everything about this is top right quadrant of a risk matrix. GRC people are like Oh, it's getting hot. Like someone closed the oven door. It is unbearably hot in here. They're underfunded. They're under-resourced. They're moving like this is like driving a car at high speed on the highway in the middle of a rainstorm where your windshield wipers can't keep up. If you've ever driven in a situation like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like sheets of water. You can't see what's going on. Most people, you know what they do? They slow down. Some people even pull over under an overpass and wait the storm out a little bit. Maybe throw the flashers on, let people know what's going on. You know what you don't do? You don't double down and shift into fifth gear and go, let's go for it. Oh, yeah, brother. Right? Like, no one does that. However, in this reality, that's what people are doing. They're just going to work. No big deal. Not today. I think we'll be all right. Like, you're gambling every day you go to work. Honestly, it's already disgusting. Exactly. Roswell UK is LOLing that what they need is what the Five Eyes agencies are doing for these tech startups, personalized report. Guys, there have been some efforts made around helping schools get educated, best practices. There was a news story that came out like last year around funding for school systems, like something like $3 million. We did the math live on stream, and it was something like $300 a school system was going to get it, which guess what? $300 doesn't move the needle at all for anything in a cybersecurity program. Maybe at a tech startup where you have 3 employees, you can buy everybody a YubiKey. This isn't going to change. And by the way, fun fact, the average ransom payment, $7 million. Are you kidding me? That's outrageous. Threat actors who are getting paid.
Straight cash, homie.
There is no way in any reality where a threat actor is going to stop. Like, dude, if you were a fisherman and you had this sweet honey hole where like you knew exactly where to go on the lake, and like every time you threw the line in, you'd pull a big, 8-pound catfish out or something like that. Would you stop fishing there? Hell no. This is a easy target, very, very low friction, pays on average $7 million. Like, where do I sign up? Again, I'm not promoting threat actor behavior or cyber crime. What I'm saying is, think about the cyber criminals. They're not looking for a challenge. They're not looking to prove themselves. This isn't 1995 where it's all about street cred and how did you hack the Gibson. This is about pure money, pure profit. What's my quickest way from A to getting paid? Oh, this soft target? Dude, if you were going to rob someone, would you rob a UFC fighter walking down the street and try to steal their wallet? Or would you knock over an old lady and steal their purse? Okay, I'm not saying this. I'm just, look at the victimology. This is a soft target. It's going to continue to be a soft target until we do something about it. It's gross. I have kids in school. It disgusts me. I've offered to go to my kid's school and help. Principal didn't reply to my email. I don't know if he thought I was a goober or like some type of opportunistic person that wasn't going to try to charge him. I was like, literally, like, let me help you, bro.
And now, thanks to today's episode sponsor, DropZone AI. Facing alert overload? DropZone AI autonomously investigates every alert, reducing noise and providing decision-ready reports. Discover how their AI solutions can enhance your SOC's efficiency. Check out their demo gallery and see how DropZone AI works at dropzone.ai. That's DROPZONE.ai.
Hey, you first-timers. We like to break our copyright every day, and today we did with Daft Punk, but this is a regular. All right, friends, I hope you are getting so much value from this stream that you're like, oh my God, my pores are oozing out value. Jerry, the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is hot, hot, hot. If you're getting value, though, hit the like button on YouTube. It goes a long way to help other people find the stream. It's as easy as that. Just hit the like button on YouTube. Shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors again, Barricade Cyber, Threat Locker, and Antisyphon Training. Guys, Antisyphon Training is straight up disrupting the cybersecurity training industry by offering high quality, cutting edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. Their courses are taught by industry practitioners with oodles of knowledge, where they teach you practical skills that are in demand for today's market. And they do it in a really fun and inclusive way. Check out their upcoming courses to see if there's one that aligns with you. And if you like the way the chat's working right now, that's how their courses are. Like they're active, they're like live, dynamic. It's awesome. I do want to point out really quickly, I'm going to drop a link in chat. Next week, November 4th through November 7th, John Strand is teaching Getting Started in InfoSec with Black Hills and MITRE ATT&CK. And I want you to know, I am registered for this course. I will be in there. And you're like, well, Jerry, you've got 20 years of experience. Why are you taking an entry-level course? Guess what? Sometimes it's nice to, reaffirm the fundamentals. Plus, he's covering MITRE ATT&CK, which I haven't used professionally. I've studied it. I've looked at it. I've played with it. I've done a little bit of research on it. But I'd love to see what John Strand's got cooking. So it's for everybody. And you could take it for $0. So if you have the time, there's nothing stopping you. No financial barriers, nothing. Take advantage of this opportunity. Antisyphontraining.com. Links in the description below. All right. I just dropped a link there in chat. Guys, thank you all so very much. Since we already did Worldwide Wednesday, we don't have any other activities for the mid-roll. But I do want to say really quickly, since I've got a hot minute, thank you to all of you. I see you guys in chat every day showing up, sharing resources, helping each other. It takes a village, y'all. I might be, driving the boat up in here, but everybody is paddling, everybody's rowing, everybody's helping, everybody's contributing. I'm not aloof to that. I'm fully aware. I see the mod team and all they do showing up at 8 a.m. I see you showing up at 8 a.m. For those who are on replay in the comments helping out, thank you. Alpha Sierra has been crushing it on socials. People sharing resources in here. I love it. Thank you so very much. # Team SC. All right, let me jump to the laws, get that going, and then we're going to giddy up on it. We're just going to let this breathe for a second. Let's get our laws on. Will you call my name?
Russia makes arrests for election interference. Russia's Federal Security Service announced it arrested a Moscow resident for operating DDoS attacks targeting local critical information infrastructure. The agency said the attacks prevented ISPs from providing internet access to customers and hindering voters from participating in remote electronic voting. It's unclear if the suspect has ties to Ukraine, but the FSB said it found Ukrainian software on his personal devices, although we didn't get anything more specific. Authorities are looking for accomplices, and the suspect could face up to 5 years in prison based on the current charges.
Okay, so, Russia is, and Ukraine are at war, and some 61-year-old shout out, hey, tell ya, dude, anyone can do cybersecurity. Age doesn't matter. 61-year-old launched a denial of service attack on Russia's infrastructure, disrupting an election. Pretty bold move of Russia to have internet accessible voting. I think that's wild. Of course, some people might argue around the elections in Russia. I won't touch that at all. I'll just leave that there, let it simmer. How they found this guy, I don't know. Also, if this guy lived in Russia and did the attack, I find that wild, right? Like you'd think that this guy, you could do a denial of service attack from anywhere. Well, you don't need to be in Russia to do it. Looks like it was a Ukrainian piece of software that was on the systems, I suppose, making those systems bots in a botnet in order to do a distributed denial of service attack. One thing that kind of sucks, kind of scary, but not surprising is it says Russian law enforcement is working to identify the suspect's accomplices. I assume that they are interrogating and using various techniques, interrogating that 61-year-old in order to get more information from him. It says if he's convicted, he could face 5 years in prison and forced labor. That doesn't sound good at all. I do want to point out really quickly, denial of service attacks are, to take this to something that we can use value of. Denial of service attacks are an attack on availability. Distributed denial of service attacks typically require either a botnet or misconfigured network devices that you can query and then fake the source IP and have it basically overwhelm a victim. In this instance, the victim is this, Russian election internet-facing system. There are solutions like Cloudflare if you're looking to manage. So basically, if you're like a company that your business is online, like you're an online retailer or something like that, you do want to have denial of service protection, especially on hot holidays like Black Friday or like these apex days where you're going to get more revenue than every other day of the year. Again, I don't know too many denial of service attack risk mitigation solutions. I know of Cloudflare if you're looking for one. So there's that.
NIS2 compliance comes at a cost. The EU's Network and Information Security Directive, or NIS2, comes into effect on October 17th, with new rules for incident response reporting, supply chain security, and training. A survey by Veeam found that 95% of respondents diverted funds from other areas to come into compliance. A third of firms use money from risk management budgets. Compliance funding also came from recruitment, crisis management, and emergency reserves. Overall, 68% of firms said they received enough additional budget to come into full compliance. NIS2 applies to roughly 150,000 large and medium companies in the bloc designated as essential or important.
All right. This is actually a really, really great learning opportunity for everybody. Okay. So this is basically CISO business realities 101. All right, so I haven't heard of NIS2. This is not to be confused with NIST. This is NIS2. This looks like it's a European Union regulation, and it requires compliance in order to do something, probably to do business in the European Union. You can see that 95% of firms that have to be compliant are compliant, which means obviously this NIS2 thing has serious business impact consequences if you're non-compliant. And a third of these businesses, it says EMEA, so I think that's Europe, Middle East, Asia-based businesses dipped into their risk management budgets, crisis management, emergency reserves. 20% of IT leaders said that budget was a barrier to achieving compliance, yet 95% are compliant. Here's the reality, guys. If I go to the business and I say, hey, I love budget for multi-factor authentication, they're like, well, here, your budget's $100,000, make it work. And I'm like, well, that's not enough for SecOps and MFA and other things. They're like, it sounds like a you problem. So why don't you go away, nerd? And I'm like, all right, so you make it work, right? You stitch a pork chop to a chicken wing and you make a meal out of it, okay? You make $1 out of 15 cents, right? Couple different metaphors here. Well, when you say, hey, I need more budget or else we aren't going to be able to do business in Europe, well then, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. When you literally say, we will not make money. Straight cash, homie. We won't make money unless you give me budget to make this. Well, surprise, surprise. Money appears. You don't have to go into the couch cushions and find, nickels and dimes in the couch. Money appears. They take it, they divert it from other budgets. Do you know why? Because it became mission critical. And this is the rub, guys. Literally, this is why regulations and compliance are sometimes necessary in order to move the needle forward. You're about to see this in the United States. CMMC, Charlie, Michael, Charlie. When CMMC comes online fully, you're going to see a lot of businesses. Oh my God, look, we have budget. Wow, right? Like, wow. Oh, we're going to hire a bunch of GRC people, even though we said we didn't have money to hire people. Wow. Like, dude, do you know why? Because if you're a company that a bunch of your revenue comes from doing business with the federal government, especially the DOD, and you're told all of a sudden, well, you're not going to be able to recompete for that contract, friend, because you're not compliant with CMMC. A lot of business owners are going to be like, I don't know WTF CMMC is, but I do know that I need it. So InfoSec people, come get me some CMMC. That's all it's going to be. Now, I want to point out, maximum compliance equals minimum security. I'll say it again. Maximum compliance equals minimum security. A lot of businesses will strive to be compliant, thinking that that means they're secure. And you and I, friends, know that that is not the case. But you know what? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. Compliance helps drive our mission initiatives. And this NIST 2 one, you don't typically see, at least in the United States, you don't see this level of like fully compliant, fully on board. Let's go. So I love it. But this story right here, yes, it's fine. NIST 2, if you're in the UK or wherever, European Union, you really should be mindful of this NIST 2 thing. You probably already know about it since it got passed into law January of 23. And now it's required as of October 17th. Excuse me. I'm scrolling right now on NIST 2 stuff because I want to see what the requirements are, if they're reasonable or not. So you need policies on risk analysis and information. Okay, so policies. All right, check, easy, right? You can have ChatGPT write your policy. Incident handling, okay. Business continuity, like business backups, DR, crisis. In a modern day of ransomware and stuff, businesses already want to do this. This isn't bad. Supply chain security, that's super vague and generic. Security and network and information systems maintained. All right. I mean, that's the name of the job that we do, right? So access controls, I suppose. Basic cyber hygiene. Again, okay, so this NIST 2 thing, at least the document I'm looking at, is wicked generic. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be prescriptive, like you need to use Okta for MFA, but it needs to be more descriptive than cyber hygiene best practices. Like, that is not going to cut it, because my definition of cyber hygiene best practices and Legrat's and Angular's definition of cybersecurity hygiene best practices are going to differ, okay? Legrat says here, CMMC Title 32 section goes into effect December 16th. That's right, guys, I'm telling you. You know what I really should do? I really should make some CMMC content. I should even, you know what? I'm so busy. I don't have time, but I really should create a CMMC course for Simply Cyber Academy. I really think that would have value. Like, everything you need to know about CMMC.
A call for a proactive approach to healthcare security. In an op-ed for Cyberscoop, U.S. Representative Mark Green made the case for a proactive approach to healthcare security with closer collaboration between the public and private sectors. He called for greater accountability from the small group of vendors that dominate most IT systems and asked for a mandate from CISA to identify cross-sector points of vulnerability. The piece also made the case for treating basic cybersecurity hygiene as a critical investment, noting that almost 40% of healthcare providers have no data leak contingency plans. He closed by calling for collaboration to streamline federal cybersecurity hiring and better secure the open source supply chain.
Okay. So, Change Healthcare was like a black swan event. It caused massive issues. It's the number one healthcare breach in history. This guy, Representative Mark Green, wrote an open letter to whoever around how we need better information security in healthcare. I am cynical. Like, I've just worked in this industry a long time. I've got a lot of calluses and everything. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, this is the equivalent of like, like there's an uptick in robbery in your neighborhood, and somebody stands on a soapbox in the town square and they're like, these robberies need to stop. The rent is too damn high. Like, okay, like, what is this going to do? Like, is anyone listening? Representative Mark Green, are you going to back this with some like policy or some regulation or some funding or some coordination with organizations in order to drive change? Like, writing an open letter, like I'm sorry, that doesn't move the needle. Like, I don't know if he did this because like some of his constituents got impacted by Change Healthcare, or if like some of his political donors somehow thought that this would be good. I don't know if this is like a posturing move. Maybe he's genuinely concerned, but like from someone who like lives in the trenches, an op-ed letter to the greater healthcare community. Like, dude, we've been dealing with getting ramrodded for decades. Dude, 2017, WannaCry took down the UK's national health system. That was 7 years ago, and that's just a example. Anthem. China broke into Anthem back in like 2013. Anthem, the healthcare insurance provider and all that, dumped all their data. At the time, it was the number one data breach, I think, across all industries. For certain, it was the biggest in healthcare. That was 11 years ago. So Representative Mark Green, I'm right there with you, buddy. The problem is, do you know that meme, Mods, if you can pull this up, the meme of the guy who's like getting his medal at the Olympics and he's like cheering and chanting and like champagne blasting on his face and stuff like that. And then it pans out and he's like seventh on the podium. That's what this feels like. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's exactly what this feels like. Let me see. Meme, Olympic, podium, guy, like over celebrate. I don't know. I don't know what the right query is on this one. Is this it? Yeah, this one. Right? Like, look at this. This is it. Like, I hate to dunk on him. I'm sure he's trying to do the right thing here, but like, this is Mark Green. Look at this op-ed letter. Yeah. Look at this. Yeah. Look at me. All right. Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh yeah. Ah! Everybody. MFA for all the healthcare programs. Woo! And then like, yeah, dude, this is right here. Like, first, this is Anthem right here in the red. And then this is National Health System UK 2017 on the silver podium. That's what's going on here.
Shared Strava data leaks French GSPR locations. An investigation by Le Monde found that members of French President Emmanuel Macron's security detail, the GSPR, published location data when working out with the fitness app Strava. Since these agents travel with Macron, they effectively leaked his location across hotels, meetings, and other trips. Le Monde said it would also publish a similar kind of tracking that impacts both President Biden and Vladimir Putin. While Strava users can choose to keep location data private, by default, it opts to share map data. As the Register pointed out back in 2018, the U.S. military ordered a review of how soldiers were using the app after discovering it could be used to show the location of military bases.
All right. Some of you know I've been on like an ultra OSINT kick lately. And this is bad OPSEC for OSINT, right? So you might not see the direct correlation here. You might not see the direct correlation like, oh, what's the big deal? I'm just keeping track of my fitness and all that. But when you piece together information, you're able to glean and infer other information. I'm glad they mentioned it because this was a big problem like in 2017. But the idea here is just like, hey guys, everywhere that my phone goes, there's a high probability that I'm right next to it, right? So if my phone is here and you can see my phone on a map, there's a high probability that Jerry is standing right there as well. In this instance, if you could see where Macron's bodyguards are, there's a high probability that they're guarding his body. So you know where his body is. There's nothing implicitly dangerous or wrong with the running app keeping track of your runs. I'm a runner myself. I know there's a lot of people in the Simply Cyber community who are runners. A lot of times you want to track your runs. You want to see where you ran. Sometimes you do a really fun run. I'll tell you really quickly, if you ever get to San Diego, Torrey Pines, the golf course, right behind it is a private, right behind it is a public like park or whatever. That's got like wicked fun runs through like, it's just gorgeous if you ever get a chance to run there. I would love to share that with you. I could go to my app and pull it up and show you that, just share that run, right? So it's very, very desirable by people who use those apps to share it. But the problem is, obviously, there's OPSEC issues. Honestly, the problem here is not that the bodyguards are using the Strava app. The problem is that you're able to tie the Strava account of the bodyguard to the human who is the bodyguard of Macron. That's the problem. What they should have had is a generic or more of a sock puppet account type thing, unrelated to the bodyguard, in order to, keep track of that data, but not reveal their thing. Now, this sucks as an individual because you're like, well, it's my account. Maybe I switch jobs and I'm no longer Macron's bodyguard. So why do I have to do that? I do it in my private time. The problem is, it gives that intel and information up. Chris Whitlock brings up how the Telegram CEO, Pavel Durov or whatever, how his girlfriend dropping info on like the helicopter flight paths. That's another one. We saw just a couple more examples, right? We saw there was some kid who wrote a script that basically would pull Elon Musk's flight information every time Elon would take off and auto tweet it. So basically he was tracking Elon on his plane. Elon didn't like that, but you could do it. So you knew where Elon was going. You can do all sorts of really fun stuff with open source intelligence by making inferences and pairing pieces of intel together. So TLDR, if you're a VIP or you protect a VIP, you should be mindful of not just the VIP's geo positioning information, but also the people who are regularly around that VIP's geopolitical positioning.
Remember to register for this week's Super.
All right. All right. Hey, someone call Nick Barker. It's 8:59. I'm going to be talking for about 30 more seconds, and we're going to end the show exactly at the top of the hour. I promised you an hour, and we nailed it. I want everyone to know that right after, we're going to do jaw jacking for 30 minutes, which is an AMA style from 9 to 9:30. So don't go anywhere. I'll bring you over to jaw jacking. You don't have to do anything, and we'll have a great, great experience for everyone. I also want to let everyone know that at 9:30 a.m. today, I've got this video going live. Now, this is an interview I did at Black Cat with Jason Haddix. Now, I want to tell you all, this is a really cool conversation. I do want to preface this really quickly. First of all, I love Jason Haddix. I think he's an amazing, amazing information security professional, and he's a great, great contributor to the cybersecurity industry. He does a bunch of things, but he's also the CISO at Flare. Now, this whole conversation is talking about Flare. This was not a sponsored interview. They didn't pay for it. I was at Black Hat. I had all my stuff set up. Jason was there. I was like, dude, you want to talk about Flare? He said, sure. So that's what this interview is. I really like Flare. I really like Flare. When they were a sponsor a while ago, I used the platform, checked it out. It's really, really great for someone who doesn't want to like set up sock puppet accounts and go on the dark web and do data mining. They basically do it all for you. So that's what this conversation's about if you're interested. But don't go anywhere, because in about 5 seconds, we're going to flip over to AMA jaw jacking. Everybody, good morning, Kathy Chambers. Do me a favor, everyone. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Congratulations on Worldwide Wednesday. If you got to run, we'll see you later. Be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. But if you're going to stay and do jaw jacking, can't wait to see you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Hey. How you doing? It's good to see you. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
My name is Jerry Guy, and if you are just here for the first time and you're not quite sure what's going on, getting a little ASMR vibes, who's this guy with the glasses? Well, my name's Jerry Guy, and every single weekday morning, I follow the Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast hosted by that nerd, Dr. Gerald Auger. Dr. Gerald Auger. What a zero. But what we're doing here for the next 30 minutes is kicking it. We're sharing insights, tools, resources. I will answer as many questions as I possibly can. Ask me anything. And at a minimum, we'll have fun. Hashtag Team SC in chat. And at the bottom of the hour, we'll go ahead and raid Simply Cyber for the Jason Haddix interview. So what's cracking, friends? Dude, I gotten back into running. So I'm a runner, but I took some time off just because I've been so flippin' busy. But I decided on Saturday that I'm going to make it a priority. So basically right when I get off of stream or right after I get home from teaching at Citadel, I go for a run. Just 5Ks. 5Ks are my normal, like, whatever runs. If you're a runner in chat, sound off. Let's hear it. Mods, if you see any questions, let me go. Brent B, yeah, Jerry Guy. I don't know if Jerry Guy will be at Simply CyberCon. Might be Dr. Gerald Auger. Got to be keeping things organized out there. Remember, Simply CyberCon. Actually, this is a great opportunity to share. So, Simply CyberCon is going to be this Friday. And I want to remind everybody that Simply CyberCon YouTube channel, track 1 will be broadcast on the Simply CyberCon YouTube channel. You can see right here, track 1. There is a workshop tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to go do that, you can learn how to make a risk scorecard. Hey, you can do a cyber risk assessment, but what do you do with that information afterwards? Steve McMichael is going to show you in a workshop. And then on Friday, track 1, the track is going to open at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time if you're a virtual attendee. And also worth noting that track 2 will be on the Simply Cyber Cafe. You can see right here, track 2, right? And if you didn't know, like, I've been basically running a 24/7 lo-fi channel. That's me. That's Simply Cyber. That's been running for, it started October 27th. So obviously I'll pull this down before Friday so we can stream. But that's what's going on. Go to simplycybercon.org for more information if you want. And that's what's going on. I thought I had something else to share with you, but can't remember. Space Taco says, how did I get into running in the first place? I don't know. I just started running. My body, I know we haven't met in person yet, Space Tacos, but my body is kind of built for running. So I don't want to say it's easy, but like a lot of people who don't like running, the things that they don't like about running, I don't experience those things. So like running is quite enjoyable for me. I actually do a lot of thinking. It's very relaxing. I know that sounds weird, but it's very relaxing and I enjoy it. Although it's been hard the last couple of days because I'm still like working through whatever this like bronchial crap I had going on. So it makes it hard to breathe while I'm running, but that's okay. Tony Roy says, we aren't able to buy the badges if we don't attend, right? I might have missed that. Oh, Tony Roy, the badges. As of right now, virtual attendees will not be able to buy a badge, but that is a decision for Chris Whitlock. There may be extra badges after the conference, and if there are, we'll talk with Chris. There may be an opportunity to buy badges. Maybe we'll do some type of auction for philanthropic purposes. I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned on the badge stuff. Let's see. Kathy Chambers being asked if she's going to go to Simply CyberCon. Built for speed or built for comfort, Brent B. Yeah, so you know what? I switched over. I wear Newtons for running shoes, and Newton just released basically like a Hoka competitor version, a little bit softer. I've been running in those, and I've enjoyed those. But normally I wear Newton fades if you're looking for that. Zach Morrison, what makes GRC a fun career? Let's see if I can do this. All right, hold on. Let me. I'm like trying to. All right. So really quickly, Zombie Guy, squad membership. I just started running. All right. Okay, hold on. I'm starting to flag these questions. Zach Morrison said, what makes GRC a fun career? Honestly, I like GRC as a fun career because I'm the kind of kid who, when they got a video game, would read the entire instruction manual that came with it. Back in the day, like way back in the day, early Nintendo days, it used to come with like an instruction manual. I would read it cover to cover. I like having all the information. I like to see the entire landscape. And for me, GRC gives me the ability to, pull levers, move things. I've done blue stuff and it's very exhilarating, but it's so transactional. With GRC, you engage with the business, you do a lot of people stuff. It's fun. All right, hold on. Why does CS get unlimited resources after a breach, but us software engineers still denied rewriting 30-year-old software? Yeah. So the question is, why does cybersecurity get funded after a breach and software devs don't get funded? Unfortunately, the reality is businesses see investments as like, what's in it for me? A lot of times legacy tech still works, right? Packets still flow. So when you're asking to replace something that isn't broke, it becomes really difficult for the business to justify that to themselves, right? Well, hey, you're asking for, I don't know, you're asking for a new car. What's wrong with the car you currently have? Like, think about if you're a parent, right? And your kid like asks for something and you're like, what's wrong with the one you have? And they're like, I don't like that one anymore. It's like, come on, it still works. Like, put it on, like put on those pants or eat whatever, like, or eat the candy that you already own or whatever. Like, it's the same thing. I get that there's a really good justifiable reason on why to repair it or replace it, but sometimes the business can't see it. Now, when there's a cyber breach, the business feels it wholeheartedly, like painfully the business feels it. So that's why you typically get funding after that. All right. Space Taco says, do you have any ideas how helpful that lo-fi stream has been? Thank you. Oh, well, there you go. You're welcome, Space Talkers. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Seth says, how do you turn on promiscuous mode in VMware in Kali? So promiscuous mode is basically, I mean, if it's what I think it is, promiscuous mode is actually a wireless protocol setting, right? So you basically can turn on listening, right? So you can listen to all the traffic out there. I don't know off the top of my head. Usually the wireless NIC has to support that protocol setting. That's why typically you'd want to buy a special antenna, like Alpha ALFA makes a pretty popular one. Cyber Umair says, I'm designing a cyber course for executives and senior leaders. From your experience, what makes the key to these sessions impactful? Cyber Umair, related to money.
Straight cash, homie.
Related to money, and use really, really sexy examples to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they're going to tune you out. Seth with the same question about promiscuous mode. Yeah, if you got a bad knee, Carrie, definitely. A lot of people go from running when their knees blow out to swimming. Any Simply Cyber holiday merch coming in the future? Maxwell Vargas. As of right now, we don't have any plans for holiday themed Simply Cyber merch. But we could certainly look into it. I actually have an idea for a really, really cool Simply Cyber merch. It's a cool idea that I need actually to hire a graphic artist on Fiverr to do. But I will I will show you when I'm done. I'm trying to get away from telling people about ideas until they're done. Ideas are easy, execution's hard. Kyle Bort used to be into running. ASICS is cool, yeah. So I will tell you, if you want to check out running, I would invest in shoes, right? I know it's not easy, but think about it. With running, the only thing you really need to buy is shoes. That's the only investment. And you can typically get like 6 months or 500 miles out of a pair of shoes. You can go longer, obviously, but you get your money's worth. Personally, I know a lot of people like Brooks. A lot of people like Hoka's. A lot of people like Nikes. ASICS is a good one. Personally, I'm a Newton person. Newton's to running is like Linux, right? Like most people use Windows, Macs, right? Think of that as like Nikes and Brooks and ASICS. And then Newtons are like Linux or whatever. It's like not everybody uses it, but the people who use them love them. I'm one of those nerds. I love Newtons. I actually bought a pair of New Balance my cousin recommended. And by Natalie Garrett. Chris Whitlock, you're 100% right. It is a GRC Mafia type shirt. I bought a pair of New Balance and I ran in them for like a week and I was like, no, I'm good. All right, continuing to look at chat for questions. Mods are taking care of it. Thank you, mods. Divine Dream Divine, is Chevy a good pickup? I find Chevy to be good. I had a Chevy Colorado 2006, I think, or 2007, the first year they made them. And then maybe even earlier than that, 2004. And when that car ended, I replaced it with a new Chevy Colorado. So I'm a fan. Rich464 had my Windows nuke itself yesterday. Lost a bunch of great bookmarks. What are some must-haves I want to make sure I have as I rebuild? Oh, bookmarks, huh? Well, that's a great question, Rich464. Personally, looking at my bookmark list here really quickly, I'll just run through a couple. Actually, I will tell you. So, I mean, obviously AI, right? So Claude, I'm a huge fan of Claude, Anthropic's AI. I would do that. I would check that out. Perplexity AI is a great one for citing resources. So get your AI ones sorted out. OSINT framework, definitely a solid one to have. Obviously, Simply Cyber's YouTube channel, Rich464. I think those are all valuable. Shodan is a good one to have on there. So, Haircut Fish, you said your kids are into Pokemon. Which Pokemon is your favorite? Yeah, so my kids are into it. I'm a Sableye guy. Sableye is my favorite Pokemon. I'll bring up the Pokemon so you can see what a Sableye looks like. If you know, you know. This is a Sableye, this little guy right here. Thank you, Haircut Fish, for the question. What resources are available to find out how to transition from a data-centric role to cyber? Okay. So, Joseph Gamble-Rui, let me share this with you. If you go to simplycyber.io/pivot, I made an entire pivot kit. So this is the cheat sheet that's going to give you a ton of information on how to get into cyber. And then I don't even show it here, but this will email to you directly as soon as you sign up. And then tomorrow, Joseph, I'll send you a pivot kit, and it's got like resumes and all the things that you would need to do to pivot from a role, in this case, data-centric, into cyber. So I would recommend that. Simply Cyber. Where's Joseph? There you go. There's the link. Use that, Joseph. And then really, I mean, Simply Cyber, that's what this channel and this community is all about. So there's a ton of resources. I have probably 1,500 videos on my YouTube channel. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to share with everybody. Check this out. Had a little bit of a dub yesterday. Right, Gen Z, a little bit of a dub for the fam. Got some aura. Check this out. Hold on, here we go. Check this out, y'all. Boom. This happened yesterday. What? 6 million views, guys. Simply Cyber's YouTube channel passed 6 million views yesterday. Shout out to all you all who, obviously have been here for the ride, and we continue to keep on cruising. But just, 6 million people getting answers, 6 million. A lot of people watch more than one video. So 6 million pieces of value delivered to the greater internet in order to help people. Thanks, Kathy Chambers. All right. Are we doing a Halloween special tomorrow? I hadn't thought about it, Augusta Delgado. Maybe. I don't know what I would dress up as, but we'll thank you for reminding me. Maybe we'll do something. Honestly, Augusta Delgado, I love the idea of doing a Halloween themed thing. It's just, I'm like ultra busy. Like, I'm going to pick up Charles Finfrock at the airport tonight. I'm taking Charles Finfrock to the Citadel tomorrow. He's guest lecturing, right? So, sometimes nice to haves are hard to do. Shecky, how did you start doing these casts, and how long to get all the equipment to make it so good? Oh, Shecky. First of all, thank you very much. I've been doing the Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast live stream, so the morning stream, for 740 weekdays in a row. I've been doing YouTube for probably, 4 or 5 years now. We're coming up on 5 years. I think December 2019 is when I launched. And all this equipment, I pick it up along the way. So I don't really have a good answer for that question. It's been organic. Some of you people who have taken my PBCC course, which I don't promote, I don't tell anyone about, and I'm going to be doing it again in January. It's like a cohort-based live course where I came from and how I got to where I am with all the tech stack and stuff like that. But yeah, Shecky. I guess to answer your question directly, I've been doing live streams for years and 4 or 5 years to get all the equipment. How would you approach performing due diligence on open source apps? I mean, you could do source code evaluation. You could dump it in an AI tool. It is open source, so you're not really releasing any secrets or intellectual property. If it were me and I was limited on time, I would look at how the access control works in the application, and I would look at how data is managed and backed up and available in the system. Those are the two things I would look at. Space Talk, Angular also listens to lo-fi at work. Very cool. Agent Coulson, most of the time you won't get a person to respond to a questionnaire, and a lot of time their security relevant terms are going to be non-existent. Yeah, 100%. I would just look at how access control is managed in the solution, and then make that's like the basic minimum that I would do. Is a GRC career difficult for introverts? Dennis Keefe asks. Yeah, a little bit, I suppose. If you don't like talking to people, you're going to have a tough time because you talk to a lot of people. You interview people. You brief people. So if you don't like people, it's probably not a good fit for you. So ITSA is considering WGU. Already have their Sec Plus, CISA Plus, Net Plus, and more. Also already in the field. Very cool. Congratulations. What are your thoughts on WGU, or does it depend? I have no interest in red teaming. So I mean, if you're already in the field, why are you going to WGU? So are you getting the bachelor's degree to unlock some type of career advancement? I will say, I know a bunch of people who've gone through WGU cyber program. Carlos is in there right now. What's his face? Brady McNulty graduated WGU. There's a bunch of night owls in chat right now. One cool thing about WGU is you can fast track through it. I think Casually Joseph's going through it right now. So you can speed run it, which is nice. So I would say do it if you want to unlock that career achievement. Once you get it, if you get a bachelor's degree today, you have a bachelor's degree in 20 years, even if you don't use it. You know what I mean? Cyber Umair, currently, a lot of questions coming in today, guys. Let's go. Currently doing ISO 27001 lead. Now considering CISA, SysM, C-Risk. Which one would be the best one so I can get into GRC? I finished your GRC course. It was awesome. Well, thanks, Cyber Umair. I'm glad you enjoyed the course. For me and my ideas, if you want to get into GRC, CISA and CISM are definitely valuable. I don't see any value in C-Risk personally. CISA is going to help you reinforce that you're able to do audit. It sounds like you're already doing that with ISO 27001 lead. I would assume you're doing audits or risk assessments. So for me, given that information, I would say do CISM because that's going to basically make you qualified to be a information security manager, like a director of IT, InfoSec or a CISO. Good to go. Good. Sableye is goated. I did not know that. That's perfect. Salmo, thanks, Jenny Housley. Salmo says, as far as GRC is concerned, would there be regulations and frameworks to specifically focus on during interviews? Yeah. So for me and my money, it depends on what your background is like, okay? But for my money, NIST cybersecurity framework would be the one to be most familiar with. It's very flexible, very applicable. A lot of organizations use it. A lot of organizations can understand it. If you're new and NIST CSF is a little overwhelming, go check out CIS 18. Get familiar with that. That's what I would focus on. Larry Shervington, shout out to Larry. Can you lay out the high-level milestones of a career roadmap for someone going from zero to CISO? What if coming from a non-technical role like GRC, project management, governance, auditing, etc.? Yeah, I mean, for me, the very high level career milestones, I mean, you can enter in different ways. But for me, step one is getting a job in audit, right? Then once you do audit, the next step would be doing risk, because risk is basically just like audit, except you can tell from your findings that you would have an audit. You'll get those same findings in risk, but you're actually able to inform how bad the findings are. Like, oh, you don't have multi-factor authentication. How bad is that? That's the risk part of it. So once you start informing on that, then the next step is not really architecture, but once you're able to communicate how bad certain things are, then the next step, and this is where it starts to get a little bit more technical, is being able to understand how to reduce those risks to acceptable levels using different people, process, and technologies, and informing the business about those things and collaborating with IT in order to get budget, in order to roll these projects out. You can use your PM skills to roll these technologies out. And then the next step is like CISO, basically, because at the point of being a CISO under this career roadmap, you understand like the overall environment. You understand what the risks are. You're cognizant and respectful of budget and understanding that you can't reduce all risk all the time. You understand that over-investing in cybersecurity has diminishing returns. So you're deliberate on what you're asking for and how you're executing on your information security program. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Larry. Over on LinkedIn, what are some things I should know to get past the door of GRC gate, and must I do certs? So GRC gates, I mean, if you want, Sec Plus is for sure a solid one. That's generic. It doesn't matter for GRC or not, but thanks, Haircut Fish. Sec Plus is a good one. And then for GRC, ISACA CISA is a good one if you can get it. I think they have a 2-year requirement. There isn't really like a great entry-level cert. I know the accolade certs are starting to come on. Once those get baked into job postings, then we'll start seeing those be more entry-level, gotta get certs over nice to have certs. Get practical skills, right? That's what I would say, individual on LinkedIn. To get past the door, you have to demonstrate practical skills. I actually have a video on my channel. Go Google like GRC portfolio, Simply Cyber, and it'll come up. I give you 3 examples of portfolio items you can do in there. We're going to be going over to the Flare video in a second. Remember, today's video is, it's not a sponsored video, but we're really talking about Flare as a platform and what Flare does. And we're interviewing Jason Haddix, who's the CISO over there. Wasn't paid to be on there, but I really like Jason a lot. I really like Flare a lot. So I wanted to do this video. All right. So that's what's up. Let me go. Yep. All right. Let me drop a link to this video here so everybody can get over there. Flare raid. Okay. Couple more questions really quickly. We're going to do speed round. Jerry, Dennis Keefe, have you checked out the OSINT bookmarks from my OSINT training? No, I haven't. Can you DM me or drop that in chat or something? I'd love to check out your bookmarks. I've been collecting a lot of OSINT bookmarks lately. Fight Like Wolves, have you ever had experience or worked with anyone in biosecurity, cyber bio? No, I haven't. I've been to Biohacking Village, and I worked in healthcare for a number of years, so there was a lot of overlap there, but not specifically biosecurity. Unless you're talking about like injecting tech into your hand and stuff. Savannah Lazara, Laz Slayer, she has that. Go check her out. Red Teamer. Terrence Tech, how big a jump is it between GRC analyst and CISM? It can be done. I mean, CISM is really focused on how do you talk to the executives? How do you talk to the board? How do you lay out a big program? How do you deal with an active incident? So it is a bit of a jump. I would say it's definitely more management focused than it is practitioner, technical, day-to-day transactional stuff. Okay. All right. Looks like we've run through all our questions, guys. Thanks so much. It's been really, really epic. having the conversations with you today, doing the jaw jacking. I want to thank all of you. Looks like we're going to begin the premiere in just a second. So I'm going to drop the share one more time in here. And I want to thank all of you for being here. Tomorrow's Halloween. Come back 8 a.m. Eastern time for the episode 741 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Oh, there's the raid. Let's go. Raid, raid, raid. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Until next time, stay secure.